My name is Jeremy King. I'm Rad Chad from Scare Package, and I've been acting professionally for about 36 minutes now. Um, just today, I started acting professionally.
So has your dad come out and asked why you don't look at him the way that you look at Joe Bob and Scare Package?
Sadly enough, my dad has not seen Scare Package yet.
Really?
He doesn't have cable, and he's not really into streaming, and so we're supposed to set up a day and time where he comes over and watches it with me, but he hasn't seen it yet.
All
So
right.
yeah, I don't know how he'll respond. I don't know if he'll be really sad that I don't love him the way that Rad Chad loves Joe Bob.
Um, so were you a Joe Bob aficionado prior to Scare Package, or?
It was funny because when we first started talking about this, and he was obviously Aaron's first choice to play this role, and I was like, man, I think I remember watching that, when I was younger on TNT and stuff like that, but I wasn't. So like when he first mentioned him, I went back and started watching a lot of his stuff, and joined the mutant family on Facebook and stuff like that, and I have to say, like, I've learned a ton just since then. Like, I sort of remembered seeing it growing up, but um I have a whole nother level of respect for him now, just seeing his body of work, and not only that, but just how smart he is. I'm sure I'm sure you've seen the talk he gave at Google about the Iridium satellites, but it's like, he Joe Bob is his character, but John Bloom, like, when he gave that speech, I was blown away. Like, I watched the whole thing, and it was just super entertaining. The really
Yeah.
interesting thing about him is there's so much intelligence behind everything he does. Even we saw How Redneck Saved Hollywood when we were in Telluride for the film festival there, and again, super funny. I mean, he probably could have been a stand-up comic if he wanted to be, right? Um, but just, if you really think about everything that he's talking about, it's also super intelligent.
So when you first your first day with Joe Bob on set, was there smile mask involved?
There didn't have to be. He was such a cool, down to earth guy that he just made you at ease right away. You know, and I just loved. I mean, my favorite part of those days was probably just sitting around listening to his stories, in between takes and stuff like that, and just getting his perspective on everything. And then, of course, while we're filming, he's throwing stuff at me that he's talked to Aaron about, but that I don't know about. So, like the thing with calling me Brad the whole time, and I love stuff like that where you don't know it's coming. So you just kind of have to, as Chad, I was just like, whatever you want to call me, that's fine. It's fine. As long as you're.
So when did you actually first work with Aaron?
Well, it was funny. We worked together it was the second short film I ever did. It was back in 2003. And I played a bike cop. And it was this little short film, and I had a pretty small role in it. But we did a lot of like B-roll in between takes, to where, like, I would go out and like mess with traffic, or I'd go, um, do whatever. And they actually made another little short based on the bike cop afterwards. But after that, we didn't work together for probably 8 or 9 years. They had moved to Austin, like him and Cameron Burns, had moved to Austin, and they were doing a short called The El Chupacabra. I don't know if you've seen it.
I know of it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you got to find it. I mean, it was hilarious, and it was such a good time. But Cameron had like written me a Facebook message or something like that. We hadn't talked in like 8 or 9 years, and I wrote him back this big 2-page thing, and it's because he said, can you come out and do this short film with us? He goes, we can't really pay you, but we'll get you the flight out there, and we have a place for you to stay, and blah blah blah. And I wrote back this big thing. I'm like, I'm a serious SAG actor now. Do you think I would work on a no budget thing like this? And blah blah blah. Like, so after 2 pages, I was like, I'm just kidding. I'd love to work with you guys. But it was funny because that was at a period where, I was kind of stuck in my head of like, well, what am I doing with my life? And, you know, what does this all mean? Why am I trying so hard? And the business of acting can sort of wear you down sometimes. Um, but doing El Chupacabra with them kind of just brought back my pure love of just the pure love of doing it, to do it. And so I feel so amazingly blessed to, be able to continue to work with them and on these fun projects because, something like Scare Package, I mean, it's a dream come true. Work with people like Joe Bob and Dustin Rhodes, Gold Dust is absolutely amazing. Um, but I've told Aaron this several times, but I'm like, man, you saved me. You saved me. You saved me like continuing to be an actor and just at the point where we did the El Chupacabra, after that, I was just like, you know what? Whatever comes my way, comes my way, and whatever doesn't, doesn't. And I just have to enjoy, what I can.
And was that when you were brought into the Buckley lineage? Was that the first appearance of a Buckley
Well,
character?
believe it or not, in that my name was just El Padre for that one. And I did wear a bolo tie. I was like, I'm going to Texas. I'm like, you know, I'm like, I'm gonna wear. I ended up wearing a bolo tie with a polo shirt, like a pink polo shirt with the bolo tie that I actually wear in Scare Package. And the Buckley lineage actually came about when they sent me the script for Camera Obscura, and they had my name listed as Jeremy. And so I read the script a few times, and I kind of started getting into character, and I called him. I said, "Man, look, my name's Tad Buckley. Okay, if I'm gonna run this hardware store, my name's gonna be Tad Buckley." And I sent them the first. One of my friends was over, and he filmed the scenes with me for that, and they kind of went off the rails like a lot. And I didn't know, like, he had sent me the audition, but I didn't know like there was like studio people looking at it. I didn't know. I thought that was like kind of for them. So I remember Aaron sent me an email or a text message shortly after. He goes, "Dude, that was hilarious. Like we're all sitting here like rolling on the floor, crying. Like it's great." He goes, "But," he goes, "can you send me another one that's like toned down and use the script a little bit more?" And I go, "Yeah, I can do that." Okay. So yeah, that's where the Buckley Heritage was actually founded. And then after that, when we started looking into, when he was writing other stuff, he's like, "Oh man, like this guy's gonna be, you know, Chad Buckley." And then, we have another character in Pale Thor that is of the lineage of the Buckley clan, so that should be fun.
Yeah. So I know he mentioned that there's that the insurance money from Tad is actually what allows Chad to open Rad Chads. And I know that there's an upcoming commercial. So is some of that off the rails footage going to make it into the commercial?
Um, that's a good question. We not from any of the other stuff, but we had a lot of fun. Um, it was during Corona that we filmed it actually, so I had to, and it was the strangest experience in the world because usually, like, you have the crew there, and so if something's funny when you do it because everybody will break up laughing like when you get done or something. But I had to shoot at a studio here with these guys that I work with a lot, and then Cameron and Aaron were actually on I think a Zoom call or a Skype call or something like that. So like there would be no feedback, you know. You would just do like crazy stuff, and then he'd be like, "Okay, let's move on to the next thing." I'm like, but yeah, I've actually gotten to see the commercial, and it's pretty funny. I think
Yeah, excellent.
I didn't become a professional until today.